Have you ever felt overlooked or disrespected, even after years of wisdom and experience? As we grow older, it can be incredibly frustrating to encounter people who don't acknowledge the respect we've rightfully earned. But what if there were proven strategies to handle these challenging interactions with grace and confidence? In this video, we'll explore 7 transformative ways to manage people who fail to show you the respect you deserve. By watching until the end, you'll discover empowering techniques to assert your boundaries, enhance your self-respect, and cultivate healthier, more meaningful relationships. Whether you're dealing with pushy relatives, dismissive strangers, or so-called friends, these tips will equip you to navigate every situation effectively. Don't let disrespect undermine your peace and dignity any longer. Stay with us to reclaim your self-worth and learn how to live life on your terms with unwavering confidence. Let's dive in and start building the respectful relationships you deserve. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Embrace the silent stare. There is a profound, almost indescribable power in silence. A quiet force that can echo louder than even the most impassioned words. The silent stare is not merely a reaction. It's an unshakable declaration of self-respect, a calm yet commanding gesture that says, "I see you for who you are, but your words will never define me." When faced with someone who interrupts, dismisses, or undermines you, the instinct is to react. Perhaps to defend yourself, to argue, to demand the respect you know you deserve. But there's something infinitely more powerful about resisting that urge and, instead, allowing the weight of your silence to speak on your behalf. A steady, unwavering gaze carries a kind of energy that words simply cannot match. When you hold someone's eyes with calm composure, without flinching, without retreating, without anger, you change the dynamic entirely. This isn't about intimidation or proving a point. It's about being present in the moment, so fully rooted in your dignity that their words can neither shake you nor define you. Your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting their actions to them in a way that forces them to sit with their discomfort. This is a confrontation not of anger but of truth. And truth, delivered through quiet confidence, can be utterly disarming. I still vividly remember the moment I learned the power of the silent stare. It happened during one of those chaotic family dinners, where opinions fly across the table like daggers and every comment feels like an unsolicited critique of your existence. A relative made a sharp remark, a veiled insult disguised as a joke, that landed squarely in front of me. My initial reaction was to respond, to defend myself, to prove that I wouldn't be the target of their cutting words. But instead, something in me shifted. I took a deep breath, looked them in the eye, and simply stared. No anger, no frustration, just a calm, steady gaze that carried more weight than any words ever could. The room seemed to hold its breath. Their smirk wavered, and in that silence, I felt an undeniable power. They realized in that instant that their words had missed their mark. Not because they lacked cruelty, but because I refused to give them power. The beauty of the silent stare is that it's not about ignoring hurt or pretending something didn't sting. It's about choosing where to place your energy. It's about deciding, in the heat of the moment, that your peace is more valuable than engaging with someone's negativity. This isn't about avoiding confrontation. It's about engaging with it on your terms. It's about showing, through your stillness, your composure, your presence, that you are unshakable, that your dignity is untouchable. As I've grown older, I've come to treasure this approach. Life has a way of teaching you just how precious your peace is. Arguments, defenses, and debates often feel urgent at the moment, but they rarely bring the satisfaction we hope for. The silent stare, on the other hand, is a reclaiming of control, not only over the situation but over your own emotions. It's a reminder to yourself that your worth isn't up for debate and that you will not give anyone the power to disturb your inner calm. The silent stare is a gift not just to yourself, but to the other person as well. Most people who belittle or disrespect others thrive on reactions. They are often caught off guard when they're met with silence instead of anger. That silence forces them to confront themselves in a way they rarely do. It leaves them with the undeniable truth that their words reveal more about them than they ever could about you. So, the next time someone tests your boundaries or tries to diminish you, take a moment to pause. Resist the urge to react. Instead, meet their gaze with quiet strength and let the silence do its work. You might be amazed by how much louder your silence speaks than your words ever could, and by how deeply it reminds you of your power. In that stillness, you honor yourself. You protect your peace. And most importantly, you remind the world that your dignity is not negotiable. 2. Embrace silence as your answer. Silence is often misunderstood in a world that glorifies quick comebacks and verbal dominance. To many, it might appear as passivity, weakness, or even defeat, a retreat in the face of disrespect or negativity. But let me tell you, silence is none of those things. It is, in fact, one of the most profound and empowering responses you can offer when confronted with rudeness or hostility. Silence is not the absence of action. It is a deliberate, intentional decision. It's a statement that says, I am in control of my energy, and you won't disrupt my peace. Think about it. When someone lashes out or throws unkind words your way, they are often seeking a reaction. They want to provoke you, to pull you into their chaos, to see you stumble. And yet, by choosing silence, you deny them all of that. You refuse to engage on their level. Your silence is like a mirror, forcing them to face their own negativity, unfiltered and unsupported. It lets their words hang in the air, unreciprocated, until they lose their sting and dissolve into awkwardness. There is an undeniable power in that moment, a quiet triumph that speaks louder than any rebuttal ever could. I recall a time when I truly felt the strength of silence. I was in line at a crowded pharmacy, waiting patiently as the minutes ticked by. A younger person behind me, clearly frustrated, began muttering under their breath, their words sharp and pointed, meant for me to hear. Years ago, my instinct might have been to whirl around and defend myself, to show them that I wasn't someone to be walked over. But this time, I simply stood still. I kept my gaze forward, my shoulders back, and my composure intact. I let their words hang in the air, unanswered, and allowed the silence to stretch between us. It was almost tangible, that silence, growing heavier with every passing second until they shifted awkwardly and fell silent themselves. In that moment, I realized something profound. I hadn't just maintained my peace, I had reclaimed my power. When you embrace silence, you are making a conscious choice to rise above the noise. It's not about avoiding conflict out of fear. It's about knowing which battles are worth your time and energy. And let's be honest, most of them aren't. Responding to every slight, every insult, every jab would only drain you, leaving you tethered to someone else's negativity. Silence, on the other hand, is your shield. It protects your dignity, your inner calm, and your precious time. It says to the world, I value my peace too much to squander it on trivialities. I believe this choice is an act of self-respect. By staying silent in the face of provocation, you are affirming your worth. You're telling yourself, and the world, that you are grounded enough not to be shaken, wise enough not to be baited, and strong enough to walk away from what doesn't serve you. Silence, when used with intention, is not just an answer, it's a declaration. It's a way of saying, I don't need to engage to prove my strength. My strength lies in my restraint. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their storm, take a breath and remember, that silence can be your greatest ally. Let it speak for you. Let it remind you of your power. Because in choosing silence, you are not backing down. You are stepping up to protect your peace, your energy, and your dignity. And in a world so often fueled by noise, that is a beautiful and courageous thing. 3. Stop explaining your choices. One of the most exhausting and, frankly, disheartening habits we can fall into is the constant need to explain ourselves. Over and over, we justify, defend, and elaborate on our decisions as if they require a stamp of approval from the world. But let me share a truth that has become painfully clear with time and experience. You do not owe anyone an explanation for how you choose to live your life. Your decisions, no matter how small or monumental, are yours and yours alone, and they do not need validation from others to be meaningful or right. Think about it. Every time you say no to an invitation or decide to leap in a new direction, there will always be people, sometimes even those closest to you, who want to know why. They'll press for details, challenge your logic, or try to poke holes in your reasoning. And let's be honest, their curiosity is often not about understanding you. Instead, it's rooted in their own need to judge, control, or compare. Yet, despite knowing this, we instinctively try to explain. We want them to see things from our perspective, to grasp why this decision matters to us. It's almost as if we believe that their understanding will somehow validate our choices. But here's the liberating truth. Their understanding is not required. It's often irrelevant. The moment you let go of the need to explain yourself is the moment you step into a profound sense of freedom. This freedom isn't just about silencing their questions. It's about standing tall in your decisions, unshaken by whether others approve or not. There's a kind of power in saying, "This is my choice, and that's enough." It doesn't matter if others agree. It doesn't matter if they understand. What matters is that the decision feels right to you, and that is all the validation you need. I learned this lesson in one of the most emotionally challenging ways. For years, I hosted large family gatherings during the holidays. It was a tradition, a way to bring everyone together. But as time went on, it became more than I could handle. It was draining, physically, emotionally, and mentally. When I finally decided to stop, the backlash was immediate. Questions and guilt came flooding in. Why don't you love having everyone together? Don't you care about keeping the family close? What about tradition? At first, I tried to explain. I poured my heart out about how exhausting it had become, and how I needed to focus on my health and peace of mind. But no matter how much I explained, it was never enough. The questions persisted, the guilt lingered, and I felt defeated. Then one day, someone asked me again, "Why don't you want to host anymore?" And instead of launching into another lengthy explanation, I simply said, "Because this is what works for me now." That was it. No elaboration, no defensiveness, just a firm, unapologetic statement. To my surprise, the conversation ended almost instantly. I walked away feeling lighter, freer, and most importantly, empowered. It wasn't just about dodging their judgment. It was about reclaiming my right to make choices without needing anyone's permission or understanding. Here's the reality. Your choices are yours. They are a reflection of your journey, your priorities, and your truths. They don't need to be dressed up with justifications or packaged neatly for others to accept. When you stop explaining yourself, you assert your autonomy and take a stand for your values and well-being. The next time someone questions your decision, resist the urge to defend it. Instead, respond with calm certainty. Because it felt right for me, or simply because I decided to. Let the silence speak volumes. You'll find that most people are left speechless in the face of such self-assuredness, and you'll feel a renewed sense of strength and pride in standing by your choices. At this stage in life, you've earned the right to live authentically, unapologetically, and boldly. You've spent years learning, growing, and discovering what truly matters to you. So why waste a single moment explaining those hard-earned truths to people who may never fully understand? Instead, embrace the quiet power of owning your decisions without apology. It's one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, The freedom to live your life on your terms. 4. Keep your distance. Sometimes, the most profound statement you can make to people who fail to respect you isn't delivered with harsh words or grand actions. It's spoken through the quiet power of distance. Choosing to step back isn't about shutting people out or being cold-hearted. It's about honoring your peace, safeguarding your energy, and reclaiming the sanctuary of your well-being. Life is precious, and not everyone deserves an invitation into the sacred spaces of your heart and mind. Being selective about who has access to your time and attention is not only okay, it's necessary. As the years go by, we come to realize how finite our time and energy truly are. Every interaction either adds to or takes away from the essence of who we are. By the time we've navigated through decades of relationships, it becomes glaringly clear. Some people simply don't contribute positively to our lives. Maybe it's the friend whose words always carry an edge of judgment, the relative who dismisses your voice as though it doesn't matter, or the colleague who consistently oversteps your boundaries. Whatever the dynamic, it's vital to recognize this truth. You are not obligated to endure disrespect for the sake of maintaining an illusion of harmony. Creating distance doesn't have to be dramatic or confrontational. You don't need to slam doors or burn bridges to establish boundaries. Sometimes, it's about subtle shifts, declining invitations, letting calls go unanswered, or becoming a little less available. You don't owe anyone lengthy explanations or justifications for these changes. Prioritizing your happiness, health, and peace is reason enough. And let's be honest, if someone truly valued you, they wouldn't consistently put you in situations where you feel dismissed, belittled, or disrespected. I recall someone in my own life who taught me this lesson the hard way. They were a friend I'd known for years, and though I cared deeply for them, their presence always seemed to carry a storm. They critiqued my choices, questioned my goals, and left me doubting myself after every encounter. For years, I told myself it wasn't intentional, that they just didn't know better. But eventually, I realized that whether intentional or not, their words chipped away at my self-worth. I reached a breaking point, not in anger, but in exhaustion. Without confrontation or announcements, I began stepping back. I stopped reaching out and limited our interactions, and gradually, the weight they brought into my life started to fade. With that space came clarity. I saw that their behavior was less about me and more about their insecurities. More importantly, I realized that I deserved friendships that lifted me, not relationships that pulled me down. Keeping your distance isn't a selfish act. It's an act of radical self-love and respect. It's a powerful message to yourself that your peace matters, that your well-being is worth protecting, and that your life is far too valuable to be spent on people who don't treat you with the kindness and care you deserve. It's an affirmation of your worth. Ask yourself this: what am I truly gaining from staying close to someone who consistently disrespects me? If the answer leaves you empty, it may be time to step away. Distance is liberating. It creates room for joy, for people who inspire and support you, and for relationships that add meaning and beauty to your days. It reminds you that letting go isn't just about losing. It's about making space for something better. Above all, it reinforces this powerful truth: your well-being comes first, and you have every right to protect it. 5. Hold your head high. There is an extraordinary power in moving through life with your head held high. A power that goes beyond mere confidence or the mechanics of good posture. It's about embodying an unshakable belief in your worth, a belief that radiates from within and declares to the world, "I am here, and I matter." When life throws its challenges your way, or when people try to diminish you with disrespect, holding your head high is your ultimate shield. It is a quiet yet profound act of defiance, a reminder to yourself and others that no one gets to define you but you. Disrespect often stems from insecurity. Those who deliver it frequently hope to strip others of their self-assurance, chipping away at confidence in subtle or overt ways. They may use condescension, passive aggression, or outright rudeness, banking on their ability to shake your foundation. But when you hold your head high, both physically and metaphorically, you deny them that power. You remind them, without words, that their negativity cannot touch the core of who you are. It's not about pretending their words don't sting or that you're immune to hurt. Rather, it's about making a conscious choice not to let their actions take root in your spirit. I vividly recall a particular encounter that tested my resolve. The setting was casual, and the conversation seemed harmless at first, but then came a comment laced with subtle disdain, a veiled attempt to undermine me. The tone was dismissive, as though my experience and years of wisdom held no value. In the past, I might have fumbled for words or tried too hard to prove my worth. But this time, something within me shifted. I took a breath, steadied myself, and straightened my shoulders. I didn't retaliate, nor did I attempt to convince them otherwise. Instead, I let a small, confident smile play across my lips and responded with grace. That single act, refusing to bow to their condescension, changed everything. The energy of the conversation shifted, and I could see the confusion in their eyes as they realized their words had failed to land as intended. This is the beauty of holding your head high. It requires no words, no drawn-out debates, and no desperate attempts to defend your value. Instead, it speaks volumes on its own. It's a declaration that says, "I know who I am, and I am proud of it." People often misunderstand this quiet strength, mistaking it for arrogance or indifference, but in reality, it's neither. It's the purest form of self-respect, a reflection of the work you've done to know yourself and stand firmly in your truth. The power of this simple act extends far beyond moments of conflict or disrespect. It's a philosophy, a way of moving through life. When you enter a room with your head held high, you make a statement before you even say a word. Your presence becomes magnetic, not because you're demanding attention, but because your self-assurance is impossible to ignore. There's an elegance in carrying yourself with quiet dignity, a strength that draws people in and earns their respect, not through force, but through authenticity. There's something profoundly disarming about this kind of confidence, especially for those who thrive on belittling others. They expect reactions, defensiveness, anger, or even submission. But when you refuse to engage, when you remain composed and resolute, it unsettles them. It shows them that their attempts to diminish you are futile. This isn't about playing games or trying to outmaneuver anyone. It's about choosing peace over conflict, dignity over drama. Walking with your head held high is more than a response to negativity. It's a daily act of self-love and respect. It's a commitment to yourself to show up in the world as the fullest version of who you are. Life is full of moments that will challenge your sense of self-worth, whether it's criticism, failure, or the judgment of others. In those moments, holding your head high is a reminder that your value isn't up for debate. It's a way of anchoring yourself, of reclaiming your power when the world tries to take it from you. As you move through life with this quiet strength, something magical happens. People begin to mirror the respect you show yourself. They see in you a confidence that inspires, a grace that commands admiration. And even when they don't, even when they persist in their attempts to undermine you, their efforts lose their sting. Their words become weightless because you've chosen to rise above them. So the next time someone tries to make you feel small, whether through a careless remark, an intentional slight, or even outright hostility, pause. Take a deep breath and straighten your shoulders. Lift your chin and remind yourself of the truth. I am enough. I am worthy. I am more than their words. In that moment, you'll feel a shift, not just in how others perceive you, but in how you perceive yourself. It's not about winning an argument or proving a point. It's about standing firm in your identity and refusing to let anyone take that away from you. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Holding your head high is an act of courage. It's a declaration that, no matter what life throws your way, you will not be diminished. It's a daily choice to honor yourself, to walk with grace and dignity, and to face the world as the powerful, capable person you are. This is your life, and you deserve to live it fully and unapologetically, with your head held high. 6. Teach people how to treat you. Respect is not something that can always be taken for granted. It's not always freely given, nor is it automatically extended in every interaction. Sometimes, respect must be taught, not through confrontation or demands, but through calm, consistent actions that demonstrate your boundaries and self-worth. Teaching people how to treat you is one of the most empowering and transformative things you can do for yourself. It's an act of profound self-respect and self-love that sets the tone for every relationship in your life, from casual acquaintances to the most intimate connections. This process begins with a simple yet powerful truth. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Every time you brush off disrespect or excuse someone's inappropriate behavior, you send a silent signal that their actions are acceptable. While it's natural to want to be kind and understanding, especially toward people we care about, there's a fine line between showing compassion and allowing others to disregard your boundaries. Compassion without boundaries can quickly lead to resentment, frustration, and the erosion of your sense of self-worth. It's tempting to justify others' actions, isn't it? You might think, maybe they didn't mean it, or they're just having a bad day. And while these may sometimes be valid reasons, they should never overshadow the importance of addressing behaviors that cross the line. Ignoring these moments might feel easier in the short term, but in the long run, it often leads to deeper misunderstandings and patterns of disrespect. By taking the time to address those moments with clarity, you communicate a simple yet powerful message. This is how I expect to be treated. Let me share a personal story that taught me the importance of this lesson. For months, I had a neighbor who frequently dropped by unannounced. At first, I didn't think much of it. I didn't want to appear rude, and I figured their intentions were harmless. But as time went on, their unplanned visits began to disrupt my day. They'd show up when I was in the middle of work or enjoying a rare moment of quiet, and each time, I'd put on a smile and let them in, even though it was eating away at my peace. Eventually, I realized something crucial. My silence was teaching them that this behavior was okay. I wasn't just tolerating it, I was enabling it. So one day, when they knocked on my door, I took a deep breath and decided to set a boundary. I said, I truly value our chats, but I'd appreciate it if you could call ahead next time to make sure it's a good time for me. To my surprise, they didn't react negatively. They respected my request, and from that day on, our relationship became more balanced. I felt a renewed sense of control over my time, and they learned to approach me with consideration. Teaching people how to treat you is rarely a one-time conversation. It's an ongoing process that requires patience, consistency, and courage. Boundaries aren't just about what you say, they're also about how you carry yourself and the standards you set in everyday interactions. People observe how you treat yourself and how you allow others to treat you, and they take their cues from there. This is why it's so important to lead by example. When you respect yourself, by speaking up, saying no when needed, and standing firm in your values, you give others a roadmap for how to treat you. Of course, this process isn't always easy. Setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're someone who avoids conflict or seeks to be liked. There might be moments of doubt, moments when you wonder if you're being too harsh or demanding. But here's the truth. Boundaries aren't about being unkind. They're about protecting your emotional well-being. Every time you set a boundary, you're reinforcing your self-worth and creating space for healthier, more respectful relationships. One of the most profound lessons I've learned is that people will only treat you as well as you treat yourself. If you accept disrespect, others will think it's acceptable. If you prioritize everyone else's needs over your own, others will follow suit. But when you show the world that you value yourself, whether by speaking up, walking away from toxic relationships, or simply refusing to compromise on your core values, you send a clear message that you're someone who deserves kindness, dignity, and respect. The rewards of this approach are immense. Over time, you'll notice that the people in your life begin to rise to meet the standards you've set. They'll approach you with greater consideration, value your time, and show genuine respect for your boundaries. More importantly, you'll feel a deep sense of empowerment and peace, knowing that you're living in alignment with your values. The journey to teaching people how to treat you is not without its challenges. It requires strength, self-awareness, and the courage to stand firm, even in the face of resistance. But the alternative, living a life where your needs and feelings are constantly overlooked, is far more difficult. By setting and upholding your boundaries, you take control of your life and create a foundation for meaningful, respectful relationships. So, the next time someone crosses a line, remember this. You have the power to define how others treat you. Whether it's a casual acquaintance, a close friend, or a loved one, your boundaries are a reflection of your self-worth. By teaching others to respect them, you're not just improving your relationships, you're honoring yourself. And that, perhaps, is the most powerful message of all. I value myself, and I expect you to do the same. 7. Remember, respect starts with you. At the very core of every interaction we engage in, every boundary we courageously set, and every poignant moment of self-advocacy we experience, there lies one profound and unshakable truth. Respect starts with you. This fundamental principle is the bedrock upon which all meaningful relationships and personal well-being are built. It's all too easy to cast blame and point fingers at those who have failed to treat us with the kindness, empathy, or dignity we so rightfully deserve. However, the most meaningful and transformative change doesn't originate from them. It begins within ourselves. When you genuinely and unapologetically respect yourself, you create a powerful ripple effect that sets the standard for how others choose to engage and interact with you. Self-respect transcends the mere act of demanding better treatment from others. It's fundamentally about honoring and nurturing yourself with the same level of care and regard that you hope to receive from those around you. It's about valuing your own needs, honoring your feelings, and recognizing your inherent worth. This profound respect is reflected in the small, everyday choices you make. Whether it's the courage to say no to things that drain your energy, the dedication to prioritizing your health and happiness, or the boldness to permit yourself to live authentically and truly to who you are. I vividly recall a time in my life when I didn't fully grasp the importance of self-respect. I frequently found myself saying yes to requests and obligations I didn't genuinely want to fulfill, helping with tasks that left me utterly exhausted, and attending events that brought me no joy, all because I feared disappointing others or being perceived as unreliable. Each time I compromised my true desires for the sake of others, I was unknowingly eroding my self-respect, piece by piece. This constant self-neglect left me feeling empty, resentful, and disconnected from my true self. It wasn't until I began to truly listen to my inner voice, the gentle yet persistent whisper that reminded me, "You matter too," that I started to see a significant shift in my life. Embracing self-respect can feel nothing short of revolutionary, especially in a world that constantly pressures us to put others' needs before our own. Society often glorifies self-sacrifice and portrays it as a virtue, making it challenging to prioritize our well-being without feeling guilty. Yet, the more you practice self-respect, the more it becomes an integral and natural part of who you are. As you deepen your respect for yourself, you find that there is less and less room for disrespect from others. People around you begin to mirror the way you carry and honor yourself. When you treat yourself with genuine care and compassion, others are more inclined to respond in kind. Conversely, those who fail to recognize your self-worth gradually fade away, unable to thrive in the presence of your unwavering sense of self. Moreover, self-respect empowers you to cultivate healthier and more fulfilling relationships. It acts as a filter through which you assess the people you allow into your life, ensuring that only those who truly value and respect you remain by your side. This discernment fosters a supportive and loving environment where mutual respect and understanding flourish. It also strengthens your resilience against negativity and toxic influences, as you no longer permit others to diminish your self-worth or dictate your happiness. It's equally important to understand that self-respect doesn't equate to striving for perfection. It's not about always having the right answers, never making mistakes, or maintaining an impeccable facade. Instead, it's about extending compassion to yourself when you stumble and celebrating your achievements when you succeed. It's about acknowledging that your value is not contingent upon what you do for others or how much you accomplish, but rather, it is intrinsically tied to who you are as a person. This intrinsic value is immutable and unwavering, regardless of external circumstances or opinions. When you hold steadfast to the belief that respect starts with you, everything else in your life begins to align harmoniously. Your decisions become clearer and more confident, the relationships you nurture become healthier and more fulfilling, and the negativity that once seemed overwhelming starts to lose its grip on you. You develop a heightened sense of self-awareness and emotional intelligence, enabling you to navigate life's challenges with grace and strength. Because when you respect yourself deeply, you build a foundation so robust and resilient that no external force can ever shake it. Furthermore, self-respect fosters a profound sense of inner peace and contentment. It liberates you from the incessant need for external validation and approval, allowing you to find joy and satisfaction within yourself. This internal stability radiates outward, influencing every aspect of your life, from your career and personal relationships to your overall happiness and sense of purpose. It empowers you to pursue your passions and dreams with unwavering determination, knowing that your worthiness is not tied to the outcome but is inherent in your very being. So, take a heartfelt moment to look inward and reflect. Ask yourself, am I treating myself the way I want others to treat me? If the answer is no, don't be discouraged. Start with small, meaningful steps. Make one conscious decision today that honors your worth, and then make another tomorrow. This could be as simple as setting a boundary with someone who consistently disrespects your time, prioritizing self-care activities that rejuvenate your spirit, or allowing yourself the grace to say no without feeling guilty. Over time, you'll discover that the respect you cultivate within yourself is beautifully mirrored back to you in ways you never could have imagined. Embracing self-respect is a journey, one that requires patience, perseverance, and unwavering commitment. But the rewards are immeasurable, a life filled with authenticity, meaningful connections, and a profound sense of self-worth. Because, ultimately, true and lasting respect is a gift that always begins with you. It is the key to unlocking your fullest potential and living a life that is not only successful but deeply fulfilling and true to who you are. Walking through life with dignity and strength. As we journey through the seasons of life, particularly in our later years, the concept of respect transforms into something profoundly meaningful. It shifts from being merely about the way others perceive or treat us to becoming a deeply personal dialogue, one that we have with our inner selves. It's about the quiet yet powerful relationship we nurture with our hearts. Every boundary we establish, every moment we choose to protect our peace, and every act of self-affirmation becomes a bold declaration of our intrinsic value. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Handling disrespect, especially as we grow older, can sometimes feel like standing against an unrelenting tide. The world around us moves at a relentless pace, often overlooking the treasure troves of wisdom, resilience, and grace that come with age. It can be disheartening when others fail to recognize the wealth of experience etched into the fabric of our lives. But let me tell you this. Your worth is not tethered to anyone else's ability or inability to see it. It is constant, steady, and unwavering, like the sun that rises every morning without fail. Your worth is rooted in the paths you've walked, the lessons you've embraced, and the battles you've overcome with unyielding strength. The strategies we've discussed for navigating disrespect are not just practical tools. They are an invitation to reclaim your power and honor yourself in the most authentic way possible. Whether it's finding peace in silence, standing firm in the boundaries you set, walking tall with quiet confidence, or teaching others how to value you, each of these acts is a profound step towards self-respect. Each step is a statement, a reminder to the world and yourself that you are worthy of kindness, dignity, and grace. Perhaps the most beautiful realization in this journey is that respect doesn't start with others. It begins and ends with you. When you treat yourself with gentleness, when you hold your own heart in high regard, you create ripples that radiate outward into every corner of your life. You'll find relationships blossoming with care and reciprocity. You'll attract opportunities that align with your values and discover moments of profound peace that feel like coming home. Slowly but surely, the noise of disrespect fades into the background, replaced by the soothing melody of your self-worth. As you continue forward, never forget this. You are the steward of your life. Your energy, your time, and your inner peace are treasures of immeasurable value, and it is not only your right but your responsibility to protect them fiercely. Walk through life with your shoulders back and your head held high, grounded in the knowledge that respect is not something you plead for, it is something you embody. Speak with calm authority when necessary, and never waver in your belief that you deserve respect, not for your achievements, but simply for the essence of who you are. At this stage in life, you've earned the privilege to live authentically, unapologetically, and with unshakable dignity. And as you do, you'll realize that the respect you extend to yourself becomes a beacon, a guiding light that shapes how others perceive and treat you. So walk boldly, knowing that you carry a legacy of strength, wisdom, and grace that no one can diminish. Respect isn't just a gift you give yourself, it's a legacy you leave behind. It's the quiet but powerful message that says, I am here, I matter, and I will honor the life I have lived. Now that we've journeyed together through the importance of walking through life with dignity and strength, I'd love to hear from you. What resonated with you most in this message? What's one lesson or insight that stood out, and how will you bring it into practice in your own life? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I truly value your perspective and reflections. If this video inspired or encouraged you in any way, don't forget to let us know by leaving a comment. And while you're here, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can continue to share more empowering and uplifting content with you. Your support means the world to us, and together, we can create a community grounded in respect, kindness, and self-worth. Thank you for watching, and remember, your journey matters, and so do you. See you in the next video. Glowing Star.